Okay. Welcome, juniors, to the second half of the year of the Vincent Massey Computer Science Club 2020 to 2021. So, recently, if you chose to do so, you wrote the Canadian Computing Competition, otherwise known as the CCC, and after looking at the results, you guys did pretty well. There's plenty of you. There's plenty of you on the honor roll, and if you haven't seen that, you can go on the CEMC website. That's cemc.uwaterloo.ca, and then from there you can scroll down to the past contests, and then you can see the CCC results to see if you made the honor roll, and if you didn't, you can see your rank by going down to the bottom of the results list. So now that that second half of the Computer Science Club is approaching, to be honest, we've always had trouble giving something for juniors and seniors to do. Typically for the seniors it's a bit harder because they're knowing a lot more of the content and then they get busy. But with juniors, you guys did a lot with Python, and David, as far as I know, David taught pretty well. I looked at some of the lessons, and so you guys learned Python, but now we're going to switch over to a different language. It's called C++. And you might be questioning, why do you use it? If Python is so nice with its syntax and it's just like English, why do we switch to a language that's much more difficult, that's much more wacky with its syntax? Why do we do that? Well, it's all coming down to efficiency. So what happens with Python is everything is coded through another programming language. And then as a result of that, it's just very slow as a whole. And there are other factors, but in the end, Python is just a slow language. As you might have seen by some DMOsh problems, you are limited to solving some problems unless you use import sys, input equals sys.stdin.readline. And even then, you sometimes ran out of memory for problems, and then you were potentially told, you can't solve this problem unless you use a different language. Usually, people would recommend C++. So C++ is the best language for competitive programming because it gives it still gives a lot of it gives a lot of basic tasks such as functions, input output, and there's a lot of good stuff in there as a whole. Like there's some data structures that are built in, some find functions are built in, and this may come weird to you because you're like, wait, Python has all that. But the thing is, not many languages have all those available things. The thing that C++ doesn't have, if you're planning on using it in the future, is graphics. It's not really meant for graphics. But that's not really concerned with competitive programming, obviously. So C++ is very, very efficient with its memory, and it's also very efficient with in terms of timing and like it can execute programs at least 1,000 times faster or 100 times faster on average compared to Python. And so by having that much increased speed, you'll be able to solve problems faster, and you're more likely to get the problem correct because you're going to be much under the time limit. And let's say your constant factors and your efficiency is bad. By the way, if you don't know what efficiency is, don't worry, we'll be going over that eventually. If your constant for your efficiency is bad, sometimes you might have not have passed in Python, but you'll probably pass in C++. And there's even a fast input thing in C++ too, which we'll get into eventually. That will increase your speed even further. But so we'll be primarily working with C++, and this week's lesson will be about C++. It won't be that big. And I hope you enjoy it, and feel free to give feedback, as this is something that we're doing slightly new this year. I mean, we did teach C++ in the past, but last year the COVID pandemic hit. The year before that, which is when I was a junior, and I was doing Composite Club for the first time, the teacher at the time, his shout out to Adam Meddy, that's the teacher, he taught C++, and it was a really good experience, and it set me up for Senior Computer Science Club and the advanced algorithms we do there. So what you can expect is to take a few weeks to get adjusted to C++, And I'll warn you in advance, the best way to to get good at C++ is to just practice it. You're gonna get things wrong unless you already know it, but you're gonna get things wrong. You're gonna have a lot of problems with syntax. You're gonna have trouble downloading the compiler unless you use Replit, which I heavily recommend you do unless you know what you're doing. But you're gonna get things wrong. But the thing is, practice makes perfect, obviously. And then after a certain amount of time and after a certain amount of practice, you're going to get to the point where you're doing problems, and doing C++ syntax is going to be instinct. Like, you're going to know what to do. And if you don't know what to do necessarily, and you're having a lot of trouble on something, you can just search it up online, or feel free to ask in the junior chat or whatever, because not only can I help you, but a lot of the seniors would definitely be willing to help you guys, because most of them know C++ very well by now, and that just comes with sheer practice. So yeah, I hope that you guys are excited for the second half of Computer Science Club, and videos will be posted, or lessons will be posted. It might be videos, might be Word documents, whatever. Will be posted every Friday, and the timing around that will be kind of flexible, but expect videos or some sort of lesson on every Friday. And yeah, hope you enjoy, and let's have a fun ride together.